you. I'm so excited to do this. We're here. We've been talking about doing this for so long, and it's happening.
Yes, I'm really excited to share my story. So that's fantastic. And to help people come out of themselves and realise that this is part of their life.
Yes, exactly. So I'm going to go back in time. What was life like before you were on this spiritual path? Who was Kathleen then?
Kathleen was a mother. I had 3 children in 4 years. I had a husband. We had a business together. Life was very busy. I was involved in the school, running around. I was involved in all the sports. I was always on the sideline, or I was a team manager. The 3 of them. So I was extremely busy, but things started happening. I started recognising who was on the phone when it rang. I started hearing things, and I got random messages and they worked out. And I was just like a little bit confused because there was so much going on in my life. And of course you have the stresses. There's a lot of stresses when you're a young mother running a family. So it was all wrapped up together. So it was a little bit confusing. I didn't know who to talk to. So I just kept it to myself. However, when I grew up as a little child with a ghost in my house. So I used to wake up in the middle of the night looking at the corner, and I'd just look and look. I wasn't scared. I was just looking, but the whole family knew that there was a ghost in the house. So I did have some familiarity, but when all these other things were happening to me, I really thought I was going nuts. It was crazy. And my husband didn't understand. And so I started sharing with my children. I started telling them a few things. And then it was interesting what they had to say back to me and different things I had seen. One time, my father died, which was their grandfather. And each one of them had an experience with him.
Wow.
Which I had set it up without realising that they could come to me and share straight away. And that was very important for them because they understood where their granddad had gone. It was incredibly interesting if you stood back and looked at it. But when you were involved in it, there was no great trauma that granddad had passed. So it was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful.
That's amazing peace of mind for you also and for them.
Yes, I mean, it's still upsetting when somebody dies, but for the whole family to know that he was safe, and when he came back and showed himself to each one of them, he was smiling.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So that's you then, obviously, and I can completely relate because obviously my kids are young now, and in the thick of all of that, I think there's a lot of people in that space and they're trying to figure out who they are in the midst of all of those roles and responsibilities.
Yes.
So who are you now? Like, what's your business look like now, and how have you embraced this whole spirituality?
Okay, well, there came a time where there were so many messages coming over that I started reading. And I started reading, and I'd leave my husband in watching TV, and I'd go to the bedroom and I'd just read. And then before I knew it, I was talking to somebody in the room. And somebody told me to start writing down, it's like automatic writing. And I was at that stage able to come home from work and have half an hour, have something to eat, and I'd do 10 minutes automatic writing. Because it was on a constant basis, I started to get real messages. So it was fantastic.
Brilliant. And so for someone who's watching who doesn't quite know what automatic writing is, can you share?
Rightio. So automatic writing is, as I said before, I was getting thoughts and messages in my head. I was actually just writing them down on paper. At a set time, like lunchtime, for 10 minutes every day. And the messages got more detailed. And it gave me peace of mind to actually get it out of my head and on paper.
Yes.
So it was great. Then I could reread it later on.
Yeah.
And think, oh my goodness, that happened. Oh, and that happened. And it started to make sense. What I was hearing was actual. It really does happen. Yeah.
And at that point in time, then, that was you still exploring this, but obviously having huge interest and success on your own at home. When did you start to connect with other people in this space?
Well, the more I did the automatic writing, the more I felt the confidence to come out. Then I joined a group.
Okay.
And we shared, we learned, and I actually started being able to communicate a lot easier. And then people started to want to hear me. And a friend showed me how to use tarot, and I picked it up straight away. And I did a lot of research in my mind. I'd read a lot of books. So I understood exactly where it was coming from, and it just evolved. Because people, it's just like birds of a feather. They flock together. They come to you.
Yes, and there's a lot more people out there like you. I think that's what you find, the whole comfort that you're not alone.
No, and this is the most important thing. You're not alone. There are other people. All you have to do is, just broach the subject with people slowly to see whether they've been having experiences or they're not interested at all. It's just a process that you go through.
Yes.
And you actually find, if you look up in your local paper or on the internet, you'll find meditation groups or you'll find healing groups, and you just go along.
Yeah.
And once you start joining the groups, you find people who've had very similar experiences to you, and you can share.
Yes.
It's wonderful. It's really wonderful.
It is. It really, I find that doing stuff in groups almost makes things happen faster when people are like you.
Well, the energy builds. So when you've got the energy of everybody with the same way of thinking, more happens and you learn more, and it's exciting. It's purely exciting. Then you come home and practice it. And so this is what I've been doing. I've been getting out and I've been working with so many people. And it's an honor for me to work with somebody who has had things happen to them but has never spoken to anybody.
Yes.
And I'll do a reading for them. I'll do a tarot reading. I'll do a channeling.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden things start making sense. And that's what we're all about.
Yeah.
It's simple.
It's
not complicated.
No. And I love your readings because we've exchanged readings with each other, and it's been awesome. And also you were the first person that my husband and mother-in-law went to for a reading, and still to this day so much has come through from that, which was cool.
Yes.
How did you take that brave step to start doing readings? Where did you find that courage?
Well, I found that courage from support from other people.
Okay.
So there was one person in particular, and her name was Shirley, and she recognised that I was who I am today, a reader, a channeler, somebody who can connect and share so that people can understand.
Yeah.
Only I was very nervous about coming out and not just reading for friends and friends of friends. So I did I helped do fundraising for a spiritual church.
Okay.
So I didn't take any money. I just read, like, every time they had an event, I was always there. Yeah. And Shirley would tell me all the comments they would say when they went away and spoke to her, because she would say, "How did you go?" And that gave me the confidence. It was wonderful. There's always one person that is your main support to help you get started. But when you start, you are service to humanity, and that's so important. Yes,
absolutely. So then the whole realm of spirits, spirit guides, angels, you name it. What's been your experience with all that? What have you identified, and who do you go to for support in that realm?
Oh, right. I have my main guide is Jonathan.
Mm-hmm.
And, you just find out along the way.
Mm-hmm.
I hear messages. I have actually seen him.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, he just looks like a normal person.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't, I do have angels, but my main guide appears to me as a normal person. So when I'm talking to him, I'm very comfortable.
Yes.
And when I get the different messages and he appears sometimes, it's just wonderful. I feel very supported. I have another guide who's just pure energy, and he's a Hathor, which is from another realm.
Yeah.
And when he'll come to me when I'm least expecting him. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden he's about 12 foot tall, but he's just this purple energy. It's the same color as my shirt.
Yeah.
And he just appears, and it's just wonderful. I just feel my heart just warms up, and I just feel special. So, yes, that's how I communicate. They come to me because I feel very open and accepting, and that's why I feel they can come to me.
That's brilliant.
Yes,
it's brilliant, and we've had many conversations about Jonathan. And we
have.
He's just like he's like one of us. He just happens to be invisible. And so, I really feel part of your calling is very much to help light workers, so those who have their spiritual gifts, to step onto their path and help them to awaken. But not just, and I don't mean this in any dismissive way, not just any light workers. It's really those who have a very strong purpose and amazing gifts.
Yes.
So we often hear in the whole spiritual space and the whole conscious space, oh yes, they're high vibration and we need to be high vibration and fifth dimension. What on earth does all that mean for someone who's watching and has never heard?
Okay, right. Everybody has an aura. Mm-hmm. And an aura is colour. It's like you're looking at a cloud. You see the clouds in the sky, but it's got colour. So everybody's got that. So light is colour. Yeah. Colour is vibration. So every living thing has an aura, and every living thing has vibration. It's just all one and the same. And when let's say you've just had a bit of a tiff with somebody, your vibration gets very heavy. You feel heavy. You feel down. Okay. And that's because your vibration is down. So when you meditate and you connect with your guides, your energy is the opposite to a confrontation. It's lighter and brighter, and you feel the vibration. Sometimes you just feel good, and that's because your vibration is so light. And that's what they're talking about.
Yes,
so,
it's just that feeling of, I think it's closer, the closer you get to that joy and that happy.
Love. It's a loving feeling. It's a great feeling.
Yeah.
So here on earth, we're all about love. There's all different aspects of love. And, we're meant to have a bit of an experience with things. So life isn't meant to be a cushion. Life is meant to be interesting, but you're not meant to stay down. You're meant to step back from an experience that's not so good and, say thank you very much. Yeah. That was an experience that I had to have. Yeah. However, let's move on and let's look at the positive side.
Yes.
So, and when you've got a small family, a lot of it involves personalities with other children, other mothers, and other families.
Yeah.
So what you need to do sometimes is step back and say, are they good for me? Am I getting happiness and love out of that, or is it hard work? And sometimes if it's too hard, you just start moving on to the next person who is lighter and brighter and fun to be with. Yes. And spirituality is applying it to your life. It's very simple. Yeah. Very simple. Anything that's complicated, it doesn't work because you might miss a step. But if you do basic things, it works.
Yeah. And the results by doing the simple steps can be profound.
Totally profound, because you're becoming brighter and lighter and happier, and you become a magnet for people because they want to be lighter and brighter and happier too. So you have more friends. They're attracted to you.
Yeah.
They love being around you, and sometimes they don't understand why. Particularly when you're running through the thing.
Yeah.
Beg your pardon?
So one of the unique things that you do is capturing people's auras.
Well, that's right. I can see auras, so that's one of the gifts that have come through. But I have a little app on my phone, and I can take the aura. So that's what I do at the beginning of a reading, is I take the aura, and the colours that come through are the main colours of what is happening in your life now. Mm-hmm. But your aura is huge. Your aura is at least 1 metre from the core of your body. It's just, imagine an egg. That's what your aura is like. It's just, so I see that. And yes, it comes and it goes, and some people are a lot stronger than others. Mm-hmm. But let's say you've had an ongoing headache. Okay. Well, the colour of your aura, or a patch of it, is a discoloured colour, and that's stress, that's a headache, or that's illness, and you need to do something about that. You need to heal yourself, and there are other ways of healing yourself, and that is through spirituality. I'm not saying don't go to the doctor. Certainly go to the doctor. Yeah. But before you go to the doctor, if you can go to somebody and have an energetic healing, you might find that that's all you need to do, because you're capturing your headache or your minor illness very quickly, very soon, and it doesn't develop.
Yeah.
So that's why there's Reiki, and that's why there's a lot of different healings that people do. It's important. Yeah. Yes.
I love also, speaking of vibrations, your crystal bowls.
Oh, yes. Crystal bowls are absolutely beautiful, and they make a beautiful tone. They run like an octave. Mm-hmm. So the different letters are the different chakras. You know, C is the base chakra, D is the sacral, and it works all the way up. And A is the third eye. I have a bowl, a large bowl, that works with the pineal gland, which is A sharp. And when I play that bowl, children stop crying. Children stop talking. They just, they're glued to the bowl, and they're just listening to the sound. It's just phenomenal response, because it's natural. It's a sound that where we come from, that we hear that. And it's just like a remnants of going home.
Yeah, that's beautiful. It is, and it's fascinating. You do see kids and even adults kind of stop, and they can't put their finger on what it is. Kids can remember a little bit easier, but adults, I like that, but I don't know why.
Exactly. And not all adults like it, because some adults are very stressed, and when you're stressed and your energy is low,
right,
it's a different sound, and you think, oh, can I handle that? Because when you're overstressed, you're very close to a headache. Right. So that's why you need to relax, and that's what meditation does. It calms you down. It opens you up. Absolutely. It's very good for you. And I have meditation classes with my crystal bowl, and what I've noticed is the people in my class, their vibration has risen. Yeah. Their connection with their guides has just developed like over the top. They're excited, because that's what the crystal bowls and that's what the meditation
That's beautiful.
does.
It's beautiful.
Helps. So, an age is have 10 minutes at least relaxation of your mind chatter.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And so if there's somebody sitting at home, watching this, and they feel like they've heard the high vibration, they feel like they've got a bigger calling, what advice would you give them to further step onto their path?
The advice I'd give is start joining a group.
Mm-hmm.
If you have had a dream or you have had an experience,
mm-hmm.
if you just go and attend at least one group and get the feeling of the group and meet like-minded people who've had an experience, then you can start exploring what the experience meant to you.
Yes.
Because there's always a message with your experience. And it doesn't have to be an experience. It also can just be a feeling. You have this really strong feeling and you can't understand.
Yeah.
So, go along to a meditation group. Go along to somebody who's giving a talk.
Yeah.
Pick up a book. Go into a bookshop and look at the New Age section. And it's the book that shines on the shelf is the one that you need to read.
Yes.
And that's what I did without realizing it at the beginning.
Yeah,
I had to get this information, and I just walked. The first time I walked into a bookshop, there was floor to ceiling books, and there was one book that stood out, and I had to have it. And of course, it was almost to the ceiling. So I had to get help. But I took that book home and I devoured it. Yeah. I just couldn't read it fast enough because it resonated with me. It made sense. And that's what it's all about. Making sense. Yes.
It's trusting. Yeah, I've had that experience with books literally fall off a shelf, before.
Yes.
It's like, pick me. And I'm like, okay. So you're going to, and have that. And then one of the last...
It's amazing.
One of the last things I want to look at is really, we've spoken also about this, is the shift that we've noticed. It's almost like the next wave of people who are waking up to their gifts and their higher self. So can you share with people some of what's happening right now and why people might all of a sudden be getting this urge to have their spiritual awakening?
Rightio. So right at the moment, what's happening is the Earth, we all know we're three-dimension. Mm-hmm. But with the pole shifts, we have moved to 3.6. So we're a 3.6 dimension at the moment. Yeah. And in the future, we are actually moving to the fifth dimension. So we're moving up. Now, the children are just going to go right through because they are very bright these days. They're brighter and brighter. The teenagers are just as bright because they have a little bit of extra DNA. The older ones, like the parents, if they start meditating and connecting with other people, they will join their children and move right through. So the whole family will move to the fifth dimension. And it's going to happen over a period of time. It's all to do with raising your vibration because the more meditation you do, the less depression you have.
Yes.
And when you go into depression, you don't go as low as you used to. It's just a dip and then you just go higher. So that is what the change is. It's like one day we're just going to wake up and we're going to be there without realizing. And life is going to be a lot better than it is today because the fighting and the confrontation worldwide, it will cease. It will happen. Yay. And that's where we're moving towards, which is fantastic.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful space. And I truly believe there's a lot of people stepping forward as leaders in the spiritual space to encourage others to do that, to embrace that vibration and raise it.
Well, that's the reason why everybody's waking up. They're having these little experiences because it's time. It's just time.
Yeah.
Different inventions come into our life, like the computer, for example, and the internet. so that we can communicate globally. Our grandparents didn't have that, but things are progressing, and we as humans are also progressing.
Yes.
And it's just a natural step. And so we just move forward.
Yes.
It's very simple. It's just a cycle. And
Yes.
that's why it's happening to you.
That's beautiful. Yes. And so you mentioned workshops. Obviously, we spoke about readings. How do people connect with you? How do they find out more?
I have a website, and it's called Spread Your Wings, and I'll be putting it up on the website. Mm-hmm. I also work in Sydney, around Sydney, and I work at various shops. So it's just a matter of connecting with me on my website. If you're not around the Sydney area, you can connect with me by Skype. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be putting workshops up on my website.
Yes.
So you'll be able to do workshops in your own home, and then you'll be able to contact me later and ask questions, because if you always end up having questions and more questions. Mm-hmm. So you can email me with your questions, you can connect with me and have a one-on-one session, either a reading or clarity, because I'm a spiritual counsellor.
Yes.
And it's because so much knowledge has been downloaded to me. This is my service to humanity. Yes. And I'm big on helping people. And that's why I'm doing this. I'm full-time now. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited about that shift and that change for you. And I can certainly vouch for your accuracy and the clarity that you give people. Like I said, not just for me, but for my family. So thank you for that gift and for stepping up to
my pleasure.
And thank you for today. That's it. I'm so happy that we got to share your story.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. It's been a pleasure to be able to get the message out to people that they're not alone. There are others feeling the same thing. So good luck in meeting people and joining with the groups. Wonderful. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.